Hey guys, what's happening? Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Well, it's Sunday again, and the week went by like that. The week just flew by for me, and the weekend too. It's not fair. How is it that we still only have 2 days off? We gotta schlep and we gotta work 5 days a week, come home, make supper, do all the stuff that needs to be done, get ready for the next day, go to bed, do it all over again. And then we get 2 lousy little days off. I think we should start a revolution, guys. Who's with me? This is ridiculous. It doesn't work anymore. We have to thank, was it Henry Ford who invented the 5-day work week? We should take Henry Ford and give him a taste of his own medicine. Anyways, hi guys. I was just ranting there. How's everybody? Everybody's okay? Everybody could hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, guys. I don't want to be talking to myself here. All right. Let's see who's here today. Today's show 182. We have a little over 30,000 subscribers, 30,400 and so. And the channel's going strong. Seems to be doing well. People are tuning in regularly. I'm happy to see people here today and joining the live chat. Hopefully a few more will trickle in along the way. I know things are, everybody's busy, even on the weekends. I find that, Halloween's around the corner. If you guys have kids, you're probably scrambling to get, costumes made and buy candy and all this kind of stuff. So, it's, I understand the struggle. But I'm glad you guys are here. And hopefully I can offer up about an hour's worth or so, give or take, maybe 2 hours, depending on the situation, of entertainment, of gear chat. So let's say hi to the people that are here already, because I don't want to just ignore everybody. Ben's here. Hi, Ben. Hope you're doing okay. Ken is also here this morning, nice and early. Music and Gear. Well, Music and Gear says he's redoing his video. What happened? He says, I have my video editor running. Lost my whole video last night. I didn't hit save. Oh, no, man. And the power went out. Oh, dude. I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens. And I hate, you may have experienced this, maybe. I hate when your hard drive's full. You're recording, you're editing, you get that message, your hard drive's full. It's like, now what? I gotta shift all the files. The struggle's real. Well, hopefully it won't take you too long to get back on track. Good morning, Randy. Thank you for the greetings. I appreciate that. Mark says he's listening in the car. His wife's running a Marine Corps marathon. No way. That's pretty cool. Wow. Tough woman. Bet she could kick your ass, Mark. Be careful, don't piss her off. That's really cool. Very cool. I don't like running. I'm not a marathon type of guy. I'm not a jogger type of guy either. The only time I would run is if someone's running after me and he happens to be bigger than me. That's the only time you're going to see me running. But kudos to all the guys who are avid runners out there. That's crazy. Sometimes I see people here in the winter time, right smack dab in the winter season, where it's freaking freezing. I wouldn't even want to get out of my car. I'm driving and I see them jogging on the side of the road. It's like a minus 20 something, and there they are jogging. I guess they're not sweating at that point, or maybe they are. I don't know how it works, but I never understood that. John's eating noodles and waiting for me. Chew well, John. 30 times. You know the rule. Charles is here. Presley's here. Hey, Presley, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing well, man. And Presley says he's lurking, getting ready for work on Sunday. Man, I just finished ranting about working 5 days a week is you know, slave labor, and here you are working on Sunday too. Crazy. Take a break, dude. Nick in the States is here. Hey, Nick, how's it going, buddy? Long time no see. Thank you for dropping in. Nick had a channel based on music gear. I don't know if, Nick, you switched over to watches. I think you're doing watch reviews now. Are you still doing the guitar gear stuff? It's been a while, dude. We have to catch up. Hope everything's okay with you and going well. Ben says, I've been stocking up on instant Roman noodles. I figured they're better than the bugs we're supposed to gonna be forced to eat. I don't know about you, Ben, but I'm stocking up on mac and cheese at Costco. You know, the really big containers. I'm stocking up on that because the economy is going like down the tubes. Gotta get ready for that, man. Just kidding. Hopefully not. So let's see. John's here. Alex is here. Shane. Good morning, Shane. Rex 10. Steve is here. Yeah, don't be a Henry Ford. Music and Gear says, that's good, Tony. 30,000 is good. Yeah, 30,000 is good. It's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick, I always say. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that, man. Tony, Alex says, where's your kiss mask? It's not Halloween yet. I'm a big Halloween fan. I don't know about you guys, but I love Halloween. I love scaring kids. The thing is, the kids on my street are really, really young. So it's not fair because then you traumatize them. Like, you know, I don't mind scaring, let's just say any kid 8 years old or older is a valid scare target. Anybody younger than that, I feel bad because then you traumatize them and then you ruin their Halloween. So who's getting ready to do a Halloween party or a Halloween gig? Anybody out there is going to be playing anywhere? Halloween gigs are fun. You know, there you can get dressed up and do the whole John 5 thing or Kiss thing or Motley Crue thing. Let me know if anybody's playing out. So Nick says he did a little bit of watches and more guitar stuff, hoping to at least do an update video. Lots of change to collection, and it's an interesting time in guitar pricing and availability right now. So true, Nick. You know, Nick, I'm also a big fan of watches. You wouldn't be able to tell with the watch I'm wearing today. I'm wearing a digital watch, but I love watches. And I have been watching channels that review watches and all that kind of thing. Watches are dangerous because people don't realize how expensive they can be. They can be way more expensive than guitars. But it's cool. And I love watches. I have a fetish for guitars, watches, and pens. I don't know why. I just do. It's one of those things. You can't just have one. So if the people here are interested in watches, check Nick's YouTube channel. Mark says last night's gig was Halloween gig. Yeah, I think I caught some of that on Instagram. I think you posted some video clips. By the way, Mark, sounded really good, man. Really good. The acoustic guitar sounded good. Going through the that acoustic amp sounded really good. From what I can hear, I don't know how you recorded it. Maybe it was just a phone, but it sounded very good. So keep it up, man. Watches are like guitar crack, but worse. They do take up less space. That is correct, Nick. They take up less space. Are they easier to hide from the wife? I don't know. If your wife knows about watches, it's tricky, you know. But yeah, I get it though. I get it. I think you and I have a lot in common, Nick. Why do I keep calling you Mark? I don't know. Sorry, Nick. I'm still early. My brain has to catch up with my mouth. All right, take it easy, Nick. Have a good one. Thank you for dropping in. Yeah, we definitely have to catch up, for sure. A lot of people don't wear watches anymore. It's true, Tonefish. A lot of people feel like, they have their watch, their phone. They have the time on their phone. They always have their phone on them. So why wear a watch? But I just like the watch. I don't know. I've been accustomed to wearing a watch forever. But I get it. My son doesn't like wearing watches. He finds it uncomfortable. You know? It's like when you first start wearing something. It's like you're not used to it. You're not used to having it on you. So I get it. John says, what's the point? Watches. What's the point? Who even measures hours anymore? Time is going so quick these days. I'm about to give up calendars too. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. It's hard, man. It's hard. Life is not easy. I gotta say, like I don't know who's like really taking full advantage of life. I guess it's the millionaires out there. Not me, that's for sure. But the average Joe, we're schlepping for $1. The government takes half. It's like you feel at a certain point you're never gonna get out of this thing rich unless you, I don't know, stumble on a sugar mama or something like that, or win the lottery, or somebody leaves you a fortune in their will. But other than that, I mean, it's day to day. It's day to day. It sucks. So this is why we're going to be focusing on guitars, because even though life is hard, even though there's challenges, guitars are always there for us. They're always there to put a smile on our faces. So let's start talking about guitars and cheer things up a little bit. Today I'm playing my Silver Sky. Haven't taken this out in a long time. And I actually noticed that the frets were a little tarnished already, which I don't like. But what are you going to do? It happens, right? And the sound might sound a little different today. And the reason why it sounds different is because I'm not playing through my fractals here. I'm playing through this guy. I just plugged it in. Just got it. I'm going to be giving you guys a review. Can you see this? Probably not. It's a Donner Arena. It's their multi-effects unit. It's pretty inexpensive, and I'm just kicking the tires on it, so to speak, just to see what it can do and where it fits in with all the other little multi-effects units that are out there. Seems like everybody's got one today. So I'm just playing it. Stock patches. This one's called, doesn't even have a real name. It's just BLLET. So I guess it's Bullet or something. A lot of the stock patches are meh. I don't know why that is. This one's pretty dry. This one's not bad. Maybe needs a little bit more reverb or something. Let's just pump up with the reverb. I don't like this kind of reverb. Let's give it a, I don't know, what do we have here? A plate? Whatever. I'll mess around with it later. Rico says he's seen the used PRS Silver Sky prices sub $500 now. That's really good. I think in general, guys, it's safe to say that the prices on used gear is coming down finally. Yes, I think the economy not doing so well. It's putting a pinch on people, and I think they're not boosting their prices as much anymore. So I think it might be a good time to grab one. I like it. I mean, a lot of people don't like the Silver Sky for whatever reasons. I get it. It's not for everyone. But I like the feel of the neck, and it sounds, the pickups do sound good to me. And I like it. It just feels comfortable. I don't play it enough, though. Believe it or not, guys, and, take this for what it's worth. But from what I understand, the Silver Sky was one of the biggest selling guitars in 2023. according to statistics and my sources. The most sold guitar in 2023. Could you imagine that? But I get it. I get it. You know, look at it this way. You know what? I strongly believe, and you guys could, you know, argue with me on this one. Okay, you can convince me otherwise. But I believe that if other brands like Sir, or I don't know who else. Sir's a good one because they're pretty expensive guitars, but I would say Sir, perhaps Friedman, and a few other like really expensive brands out there. If they would come out with like an SE version of their own, it would also sell like hotcakes. Like I don't see why anybody wouldn't buy, let's say, a Sir guitar, because those necks are great. And you know, not everybody can spend 3-4 grand on a guitar like that. And basically a Sir guitar is a part caster, right? Like I would think like a guitar like this is pretty easy to put together. It's parts, right? It's like a Strat, no big deal. I think the other PRS SEs are a little bit more challenging because they have the set neck. They try to mimic the nice, you know, the flame and there's the carve and all that. So they're harder to produce, but these guitars can be snapped together really easily. Anybody can do it really, you know. So it's pretty inexpensive to put these guitars together. So any guitar that fits this kind of design could definitely have an SE version that is made overseas. So if Sir would create an overseas version of their guitars, I'd be first in line to buy it if the neck was the same as their regular models, because their necks are amazing, you know. And I don't see why. I mean, I don't think the guitar would be bad in any way. They make good quality stuff, right? So if you can knock off, you know, if you can get an SE for $1,000 or less, you know, a Sir version, I'm sure they would sell like hotcakes. Same thing with the Friedman models. You know, they're very expensive. So if they come up with an overseas model, like you have to keep in mind, like for every core model PRS that's sold, you know, they probably sell hundreds, maybe even thousands, I don't know, but at least hundreds of the SE models. I think the SE models is really what's keeping the lights on over at PRS, you know, paying the bills. Because once you have a core model, I mean, how many core models are you going to buy? They're expensive, right? Some people go crazy and can afford it. You know, if you're a dentist, a lawyer, doctor, something like that, sure, go out and buy as many as you want. But most of us could hardly afford one, never mind a whole bunch, right? You guys agree with me on that? Or am I just like, am I standing here alone? You know, I don't know. Give me your opinions, guys. Let's see here. Randy's back. Great. Tonefish. He says, I've been married for 32 years and I stopped wearing a ring after I welded it to a battery box on a case tractor. That was the first few months of wearing it. Wow, how did you manage that, Tonefish? Shane says the most sold guitar last year was the Yamaha Revstar. So I guess we have different information. I don't know. The information I pulled up says it was the Silver Sky. So I don't know. We'll have to validate those numbers there. We'll have to see. Music and Gear says, I just want a good Gibson double cut with P90s. Someday I'll lay down the cash for one. Yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes that's exactly what you need to do. You just need to bite the bullet. You know, we're often trying to find less expensive versions of the guitars that we want to have, that we can't afford. So we try and, you know, scratch the itch with less expensive guitars. But at the end of the day, maybe instead of buying, you know, 10 different guitars that are so hoping to find a good one, maybe it's best to just bite the bullet, save your pennies, and get the guitar that you really want. At the end of the day, you know, you're happy. I tend to I tend to waver on that ideology, you know. Sometimes I'm like, no way am I spending that kind of money. I'm happy with the guitars I have, and then sometimes something comes over me and I'm like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna get the one I want, and that's it. Eddie wants to know how a Sur neck is different or better than other necks. I can't describe it, Eddie. It's just the feel, the carve. It feels amazingly comfortable in your hands. The edges feel good. The contour feels good. Stainless steel frets. And whenever I pick up my Sur guitar, it's like, I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. You know, it just feels right. I can't describe it. If you haven't tried one, you got to try. Just try one. It's hard to put in words. Because what I'm looking for in feel when it comes to a neck might be different than yours. But it just, when I played it, it was like, that's the neck. That's the neck that I love. Music and Gear says he'll get a PRS before the 20% sale ends. It's a good time to get one. Yeah, I agree. If you've been on the fence about it, now's the time. Save yourself some dollars there if you can. I gotta say though, and I gotta come clean, the brand new Miles Kennedy model that PRS came out with, not doing it for me, man. I don't know. Just don't like it. Is anybody into that model? I don't know. It's like a Telecaster, but not really. The bridge is using the brass saddles. You got two pickups instead of two pickups like a Telecaster, a neck and a bridge pickup, but they're special type of pickups, and even the way the switches between the knobs. I don't know. I'm not into it. So sue me. I'm sure I'm not the only one. No, Ben, they don't come with a. Believe it or not, the Sur guitars don't come with a hard case. It's crazy. I know. It's like you're dropping so much money and they can't even throw in a hard case. Could you imagine? But they don't. I don't get it. I think a lot of companies now don't ship with hard cases anymore. I think it's a thing. I'm not sure. But I would at least want to have a hard case protecting my investment if I'm spending $3,000. Don't you agree? D-Mac had a question. He says, any tips for attenuators? Just need to lower volumes for a 20-watt tube head for an apartment. Yeah. Bugera has one, and I think I might have suggested that one to someone else. I have one, and they're pretty inexpensive. They're about brand new. They're less than $200. There's better ones. There's more expensive ones. I used to have a Weber, which is more expensive, but I switched to the Bugera. And I bought a used for like maybe $100 or something. It's called the PS1, the passive 100 watt power attenuator. You can get it, well, in Canada you can get them from Long and McQuaid for about $186 Canadian, and they work well. And for a 20-watt amp, it'll do just fine. I think in the States they're about $119 brand new. So yeah, I would suggest that one. You'll be fine with it. Ben says, out of curiosity, so the Sur guitars don't come with the cases. I answered that question. Eddie says, have you seen the new Music Nomad Diamond Fret and File? Looks pretty good. No, I didn't. Let me check it out. I'm always looking for tools. Let's take a look here. Okay, I think I did see them. Yeah. So if we're looking at the same thing, if we're talking about the same thing, you can even get them on Amazon, I believe. Diamond coated electric guitar nut slotting files. Is that what you're talking about? Is it the nut slotting files? Because I have been eyeing them. They're 134 bucks, I believe, for a set for a guitar, which is not that bad. Nut slotting files are expensive. I don't know why. They just are. But they're not fret end files. They're nut files. I don't know if we're talking about the same thing. Maybe you're talking about something else here. Can you give me more information? I'll go to the Music Nomad website here and see if I could find it somewhere here. I'm on the site. I'm looking for the products. Guitar surface care, guitar shop setup tools, fret care is under fret care. Maybe it's under fret care. They have a lot of stuff. Let me see. I'll just put in fret file. Are you talking about the diamond coated fret end dressing file? Is that the one you're talking about? Is that the one? I have a fret end file that I use all the time, but it's not diamond coated. It's just a regular one. Works really well. This one on their website is $27. Not bad. It's a good deal. When it comes to setting up guitars, my opinion is buy the best tools you can get. If you can. If you can get something good, get it. Because you buy a good tool once, you keep it forever, you know? Fret end dressing file. So it's the one. I think it's the one I'm looking at here. Yeah, that's the one. $27, not bad. You can get regular fret end files for less than that, but I'm sure it's good. If you want to get the whole set of files though, yeah, they're expensive. But you buy them once and you're good to go. Definitely worth the investment if you have more than, I would say if you have more than 2 guitars, it's already going to be probably worth the investment if you work on your guitars regularly. So who here has been a naughty boy and bought something new this week? Anybody? Are you guys saving your money for the deals? Hey, Jamel, nice to see you, buddy. Eddie, Frank, nice to see you guys. People are slowly trickling in today. Marcel, how's it going, buddy? So has anybody purchased anything they want to admit to live here on the show? Or are you guys all pleading the fifth? Frank says, I love Gibson guitars, but hate that they hold back on certain guitars in certain countries like Canada. An example I'm talking about is the Gibson Les Paul Classic Honeyburst Light. I know what you mean. I know it's a pain. It's true. You can't always get everything. There's other countries that have even a worse time than Canada. Australia, for one. They have to pay quite a bit more to get stuff there, and they don't have as much choice. But I hear you, man. Alex says he bought I bought used to Gibson hardshell cases at Guitar Center for 29 bucks. 29 bucks, really? Used. Yeah, well, if they're used, depends how used. I got some pretty used ones. I got some acoustic guitar cases that I can't get rid of. They're like more duct tape than actually case. But I just don't like to throw it away because eventually it'll come in handy for something. I'm not a hoarder, I promise. Yeah, Shane, that's the story. Apparently the hardshell cases got nixed, got axed because people wanted to make more money. You know, you can easily tag on another $100 if you don't sell a hard case with a guitar, right? Like, who the heck wants to carry their case in a bag? Not many people. So that's the reason behind that. But that sucks, you know what I mean? Like, we're definitely getting fleeced. Who's with me? Teal Trem says we can't get Tokai in the US. Not even on the used market. I mean, we get them in Canada too. From time to time, they pop up. You can't buy them, as far as I know, you can't buy them new in Canada. You got to buy them used. You got to be imported. I wish you could, because I'd buy some more. I love Tokais. Cushman says going back to look at a Gibson Flying V later today. Hoping to snag it. Have you checked out, Cushman, have you checked out the Epiphone versions that just came out? Have you seen those? Epiphone came out with the Flying V the Flying V and Explorer. I'm not a fan of the Flying V. I said it before. I just don't feel the shape of the guitar is very comfortable. I don't like having to like jam it in between my thighs kind of thing, playing it like a classical guitar. But Epiphone released the 58 Carina Flying V as well as the Explorer. And I would say, I'd be a fan of maybe snagging the Explorer as opposed to snagging a Gibson model. But when I looked at the prices, I'm like, wait a minute, hold the phone. They're still like super expensive. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, maybe you have better pricing than I can see here, but I believe these guitars are still selling for, let me see if I can get an updated price here, but it looks like somewhere over $1,000, right? Could that be right? I don't know. Let me just check something here. I don't believe this. Epiphone Explorer. Yeah, that's right. Can't believe it. So here in Canada, they're selling for $1,899. The Epiphone model, like $2,000. What? I don't understand. I don't get it, guys. Like an Epiphone shouldn't be $2,000. Come on, that's too much. I'd say $1,200 max is what I would be putting down for one. Like I'd be interested in an Explorer just because I never had one, not because I really need one. Honestly, I've played one before. They're a little awkward to play, and you need a special case for them. Can't get that kind of case just anywhere. But at $2,000, no. I'd spend my money on something else. Shane says, since you can jam a V into your thigh, it is a more stable guitar to solo on stage while standing. Is it? I don't know. I gotta be comfortable. Most of the time when I'm playing guitar, I'm playing sitting down. Like, if I'm rehearsing, I'm standing up. If I'm playing somewhere, obviously I'm standing up. But most of the time, whether I'm just noodling or practicing, the majority of the time, I'm sitting. So the guitar's gotta be comfortable when I'm sitting down too. For the newcomers here, I haven't mentioned it yet, but for the newcomers here, please consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I don't need to say that. You need to be subscribed to be able to chat. I think a lot of you already know that. If you want to support the channel, you can do so with your super chats, with your subscriptions. As usual, if you do a super chat or you feel like you want to support the channel, then I will ship you out one of these Addicted to Gear stickers that you can put on your... I guess you could put these on a guitar bag. I used to put them on my guitar cases, but I guess you could put them on your guitar bag. So I will send that out to you guys as a thank you for free. You just have to send me your mailing address. And what else? What else can I tell you? Of course, yeah, if you give me a thumbs up, it's appreciated, obviously, during the show. Because, more thumbs up, hopefully more people will take notice and join into the chat. Let's see here. What am I missing? Mortified Basement says, I ordered a rat a little bit ago. Is that for Halloween? Wanted one for a while, was half price, so I pounced on it. Was it half price because you bought it used, or was it half price because there was a sale going on? Frank says Gibson is getting so high. 3,999.99 for a standard. Yeah, it's crazy. They used to be 2,500. And not that $2,500 was a deal, but it's better than 4,000. Like, come on, man. It's getting I feel like I sound like a broken record. But let me see something. I'm just going to go to Gibson Les Paul standard. See what if there's any deals happening here locally, which I don't think. Frank's right. Yeah, $3,999 in Canada, plus tax. That's not a deal. I don't know, man. You gotta wait now. You gotta wait for deals. You gotta just buy used. You buy used. I mean, unfortunately, I think at the end of the day, the music stores are going to suffer because with those kind of prices, you have no choice. You know, you can buy used. You can still get I think you could still get a Les Paul for like $2,000. If you're lucky, maybe even below $2,000 on the used market here in Canada. You know, walk away with an extra $1,000 in your pocket. The Nye says, Tony, your thoughts on the used and new gear marketplace. Some YouTubers were predicting lower prices because of the oversupply and COVID. Didn't see it yet. I'm starting to see, like I mentioned earlier, I'm starting to see that the price on the used gear is becoming more realistic. And there's been a sudden influx of a lot more used gear. Like I keep looking at used gear regularly. I like to window shop. I take my phone, I look at some local sites where there's always some gear available, and I just browse, you know. Most of the time it's the regular stuff nobody wants. But sometimes you get lucky and you find that rare jewel. So I like to do that. I like to just browse. And I find lately there's been a lot more influx of gear. Like there was a period where I was seeing the same stuff over and over again, nothing new. Now I'm seeing new stuff. So I think, again, the economy, Christmas is around the corner. You know, people got expenses. They want to maybe dump some gear, get some new stuff. So I'm seeing a lot more used gear, and I'm seeing the price of the used gear coming down too. I'm also seeing a lot of deals, like we mentioned, the PRS deal. A lot of the big box stores, the big music stores are having blowout sales. We're going to see Black Friday deals starting to happen, Christmas deals starting to happen. You know, I have a feeling they've been slowly raising the prices in stores just to get ready to create that false sense of a deal. You know, you have a Gibson Les Paul, like we mentioned, it's almost $4,000. They jumped up the price to $4,000. They're going to knock it down a couple $100 during Christmas, and you think you're getting a deal. That's what I think is going to happen. Alex2112 says, just buy used Gibson, do not buy new, and you'll get and you will not get screwed. Alex, I've been saying that for a long time. I will always check the used market first before I make a buying decision. If I can get the same guitar that I'm looking at used, I'll go for that first. So John says, I was going to buy a Fender AM Pro 2 Strats, American. I tried it at the store and thought I didn't like the neck profile as much as my classic vibe. Why spend $2,500 knowing I would prefer playing my $300 Squire? You did absolutely right. You did the right thing, man. You got to compare, and you got to be honest with yourself when you walk into the music store. I walk into music stores from time to time. I'm not there. I'm not the type of guy that's there every week. I try to avoid them. To be honest with you, my local Long and McQuaid does not have anything that excites me. They don't. This is the regular run-of-the-mill stuff that I've seen 100 times, 1,000 times. But from time to time, I'll walk into the store just to validate and to readjust my gauge, so to speak. I'll take a guitar off the wall. It could be a Gibson or whatever. I'll grab one, play it, and then as I'm playing it, I'm like, yeah, the guitar I have at home feels better. And I'm happy. And I put it back on the wall. I'll still look. I'll try other things. I'll try a PRS. I'll try a Kramer. I'll try an SG, whatever. And I'll just do the same thing. I'll just take it, play it, and I look at the price. I feel the guitar, and I'm like, the guitar I have at home plays better and feels better. And I paid it a quarter of the price back in the day. So I'm happy. I walk out of the store. I got to walk out with something. So I probably will pick up whatever, some strings, whatever, some like guitar cables if I need them, or just something, which will still be overpriced, by the way. But I'll grab them and walk out, and I'm happy, and it's just, I've reestablished in my mind that I'm in a good place. I don't know if you guys do that. It's just psychologically just calming the demons in my mind, telling me that I may be missing out on something when actually I'm not. Tony, is that your PRS? Yeah, it's this is the Silver Sky. Alex says, when you buy used gear from Guitar Center, you have 45 days to play with it and return it for something new. There's the catch. Something new. Not to get your money back. You still got to buy something. So if you drop $3,000 or $4,000 on a Gibson and you don't like it, you still got to buy something. What happened to the 10-day exchange policy? Money back. 10 days is enough for me to make up my mind. Modified Basement says it was a Rat Distortion pedal B stock, new with warranty, $49.99, free shipping. They're not for everyone. Did I get hosed? I don't think you got hosed. I think you got a great deal. But yeah, you're right. They're not for everyone. I've tried Rat pedals before a few times, and for me, it's not my flavor. But I know people that love them. So if you love them, $49, a good deal, man. You can't even get, you can hardly get those cheap Chinese knockoff pedals for $49 anymore. Those are going up too. Rico says, Tony, I thought you had borrowed the Silver Sky. I did borrow it. Ended up keeping it after. The arena from Donner, the stock settings in here, they need to be tweaked. I mean, let me just see. That's like a wah sound. They just, I don't know. There's something about this unit. I have to reserve this patch called Death. Anyways, I gotta tweak these patches. I don't know why. Tell me why factory patches are never good on multi-effects units. Like, why do they even bother putting factory patches in a unit if it's not going to be great? I can always make them sound better with a few different tweaks. I don't know who's like putting these patches together, but they should try a little harder. Howling Man says, one thing about having to mod my guitar to my liking is how I know how to do an entire setup and fix everything wrong. I hope you don't mean fix everything wrong, but fix everything that's wrong. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of times you know, you can pick up a guitar off the wall in a guitar store and you know it hasn't been touched in a long time. The string height is out of whack. There's a lot of things that are like not right about the guitar. So when you're playing it, sometimes you know you think it's a crappy guitar, but it's just a bad setup. That's why I don't mind buying used, because I know that if I go buy a used guitar, I have a pretty good eye where I can really tell just by looking at the guitar very briefly, like what's wrong with it, what needs to be adjusted. If there's anything major, I can identify it. And I'm pretty comfortable with fixing most things on a guitar. So even if the guitar is not playing like 100%, the person selling it might not know why. But I'm pretty confident I can actually fix whatever issues are there and get a good deal out of it, you know? Heck, a couple of times I actually use it to my advantage, because the guitar that was being sold was just set up so badly. Like I don't even know how the person was able to play the guitar, to be honest. So there was one specific guitar that I purchased, and I looked at it, and the guy had put on really heavy gauge strings. He must have been playing metal or something. I don't know. The gauge strings were so heavy that they weren't even sitting inside the nut slot. They were actually sitting on top of the slot. They wouldn't fit. So the action was super high. The tuning was terrible. When I took the guitar and played it, I'm like, eesh, you know. So I told the guy, I go, dude, you know, this guitar is not set up really great. He knocked off some more money off the deal. I brought it home, put the right size strings, did an adjustment, and I think I still have that guitar today. Paul says, Tokai, Canada. Only Fender clones and their 83 aluminum body Talboa. So if I go to Tokai, Canada, a lot of times I've seen Tokais being sold in Canada, but they're the Korean models, which not that many people are after. There's a nice Telecaster though. Let's see here. Let's see what they got. The thing is, I mean, they're listing guitars, but are they really for sale? Because I don't see any way of actually buying anything here. It's a dealer, so I guess you have to contact the dealer. Perhaps if you contact them, they're able to get something for you. But they're pretty cool Telecasters, in fact. Whoop, dropped my pick. I don't need another Telecaster, but if I did, I might consider one of these really cool Tokais. Never had a Tokai Telecaster. I have a nice Paisley one too. The Strats. So they have the Strats, they have the Telecasters, but they don't have any of the Gibsons. They even have a Jaguar version. Oh well, so much for that. They have a nice Super Strat version. It looks like a Strat with 2 single coils and a humbucker. That looks nice. Yeah, so that's what I mean, is like the ones that you're looking for, the ones that you really want to get, the Tokai is hard to get. Can't always find them. John says, I prefer used to buy new, and you only get second-hand prices if you flip it. Buy used and you don't have to sell it for third-hand price. You can make all your money back. Exactly, that's a good point there. Because a guitar will lose value. It's like a car, right? As soon as you buy one, it's gonna be depreciating. But when you buy it used, it's already done that. When you sell your used guitar, it's kind of like gonna stay around the same price. Sometimes you can even make a couple bucks more depending on, you know, what the market is doing. So Surferby says, so I saw Greg Koch on Tuesday. Great show as always. He had a woman open for him called Ali Handel. Incredible singer and guitar player. She's an Aerosmith tribute band. She's in an Aerosmith tribute band on the side. Very cool. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous because Greg is amazing. To me, Greg is the guy. Like, I don't understand. Greg is maybe 3 years older than I am. I think he's 57. And I'm 54, just turned 54. And I don't know how, like, he's 57 in guitar years, but in human years, like in human years, he's 57. In guitar years, the guy's like Yoda. I don't understand how he has so much talent, this guy. He's just amazing. It's like he can play anything. Like, I never see him like stuck, you know? He can just play and improvise and it all sounds great. Never misses a note. His trio called the Koch Marshall Trio is amazing. I think it's his son on drums. And I honestly, he's the guy I watch most of on YouTube. I love his podcast. What do they call it? Gristle, Chewing the Gristle, I think he calls it. Where they just get together and play and chat, and always amazing stuff. Always amazing stuff. I don't know how this guy's not more popular. Like, to me, his technique and playing style is right up there. I mean, I'm talking like Jeff Beck style. Like some of the stuff that he does. Amazing. And it's weird because he's just not, like, if I talk to people, Greg, who's this guy, Greg? You know, who is he? I don't understand. How come nobody knows about this guy? Anyways, check him out. If you get an opportunity, you love guitar, amazing. Amazing licks, amazing playing style. He makes it look so easy. His son is amazing, Ben. His son reminds me, he has the look of Animal. Don't you find Animal on the Muppet Show? Remember Animal? You should get the Animal bass drum cover in the front, you know, like the Muppets had. But he's got an amazing style. He reminds me a lot of a little bit of Bonham, Ginger Baker mixed up together there a little bit. Great drumming style. I love him as a drummer. And he makes it look so effortless. They all do. The bass player too. It's like, you know. Anyway, I'm disappointed I didn't catch him, but I highly recommend you guys take a look. If you have an opportunity to. Howland Man wants to know if I have any experience with Victory amps by chance. I'm really interested in them, but I can't find one nearby to test. I had the same issue. I was really close to wanting to pull the plug on the Victory Sheriff. They had come out with the Victory Sheriff a while ago. I like that amp. From what I was seeing online, it seemed pretty good, but I was just using videos as a reference. I wanted to try one out locally, couldn't find a local distributor that had one in stock. So I didn't buy it. I didn't want to take the chance. But I know that they just released a new version, a Mark II version of the Kraken. So I don't know if that's what you're interested in picking up. They sound good. From what I can tell, they sound really good, at least on the videos. The prices are not, I mean, they're not giving them away, right? They're still in over $1,000, depending on which one you want to buy. I think the Sheriff is 1,200 euros, I believe, right now. So you got to add quite a bit in terms of exchange, shipping, handling. Not a cheap amplifier. If you can possibly get one on the used market, go for that. But I think they have a good reputation. I think the quality of those amps are good. It's really just a question of being able to try one before you buy one, because amps are tricky. They could sound good, but in terms of their feel, like if you like the squish, you like the compression, and if the amp feels a little bit too stiff, you might not get along with it. Like, you know, Marshalls have that compression. Mesa amps are a little bit stiffer. They're a little bit more immediate in terms of their attack. Some people like that, some people don't. So it all depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, they're hard to find. They're hard to get. You're hard to get dealers. Hard to find a dealer locally. They're not that. I don't think they have that much distribution yet. So Thorn Blaze Lash says, thanks Surf, reviewing the Vega Trem. They look and sound amazing and easy to install. Yeah, I agree. The Vega Trems are really a good alternative to a Floyd, I would say. Keep in mind that there's no locking nut, but in terms of the feel, the Vega Trems are amazing. I put one on my Kramer Beretta Special and don't regret it one bit. It's like the stock trem on that guitar was garbage. You know, it's probably like a $10 tremolo, if that it comes with. I had upgraded the pickup in that guitar to a JB. And after putting in a Vega Trem, it's a whole other guitar, like really on another level. So a lot of people were mocking me and saying, why would you put a tremolo on a Kramer Beretta Special where the trem costs more than the guitar? Because the guitar is a really nice, very great playing guitar. And with, you know, modding the pickup, putting in a new tremolo, it can compete against a guitar 3 times the price now, easily. Howling Man says he put it on his Strats, yeah, and bare knuckle pickups, both are absolutely phenomenal. Like, doesn't it bring that, didn't it make that guitar go to a different level? I mean, it's hard to get that kind of quality when you even buy a new guitar right off the wall. You know, people don't understand until they try it, but try it and you'll see. It's crazy. Yeah, Vox, I agree. It's an interesting color, not my favorite. I didn't buy it because of the color. I don't know why these colors are, I don't know why they came out with such weird colors. Whatever. I didn't buy it because of the color. I bought it just because I liked the feel of the guitar. I couldn't care less about the color, to be honest with you. I would have probably have gone for a different color if I had the opportunity, but I got a good deal on this one. Yeah, the bridge sucked on the stock Kramer Beretta Special bridges are garbage. You can take them off. Any bridge you're going to put on them will be better. But you put a good one in there and it really makes it interesting. Greg should be bigger than he is, even though he's 6'7". He's huge. He always makes the guitars look tiny when he plays them. It's funny. You see him and it's like, is he playing a 3/4 size guitar? And he's not. It's just, you know, he's like, he's just big. John says, Animal was my high school nickname. I have a t-shirt with his face. Every time I wear it, guaranteed I get at least 3 people comment on it. Also, there will always be one nitwit calling him Elmo. That's funny. Elmo. Oh man. Yeah, I'm wearing my my Super Genius shirt today. I love this shirt. This guy's like the epitome of just like, you know, doing everything wrong, which is me sometimes. So I could relate. That's funny, man. Oh, dude. Keith, thanks for the super chat, Keith. He says, so what pickups would you put in the SE Silver Sky? Dude, I'm glad you asked me that question, because honestly, I love the pickups in the Silver Sky. The stock pickups are staying. I didn't change them. I like them. They sound really good. Like you don't have to change them. This is why I really liked this guitar. I like the shape of the neck, and I like the way the pickups sound. So it's like, what else do I need to do? Nothing, you know? And it's rare that I say that, but I am saying that honestly, I'm not just blowing smoke. The stock pickups are fine. Frank wants to know what's the difference between the Stratocaster and the Silver Sky. Not a whole lot, to be honest. The neck is slightly different, but it's close to a Strat neck. Like, I'm not gonna say it feels extremely different. Feels like any other Strat neck. The body, very familiar. The shape and stuff. Like, if you're not looking, you're gonna forget you're actually playing a Silver Sky. There's nothing that sticks out and says, hey, I'm not playing a Strat. Really. The contours and stuff that they put in there, honestly, your hands rarely go there. You rarely feel it. So it's not like, oh, here's a contour that shouldn't be there. No, you don't feel it. The knobs feel fine. The switch feels fine. The only thing you really have to get used to is the fact that it's a 3-in-3 tuner setup here instead of a 6-in-line. That's about it, honestly. The rest is pretty much a Strat. Thanks, Gene. Yeah, I like the shirt. I'm a big Looney Tunes fan, so... Yeah, I agree with you, Surfer Bite. Dylan does remind me of Bonham. Yeah, Bonham/Ginger Baker. Vox says, my wife bought me a Christmas t-shirt that says, my presence is your present, with the Grinch on it. Yeah. Shane, I know, man. Who would have thought that I would have liked the pickups in this thing, but I did. I do. I'm not changing them. These the strings do have to get changed though, and I should polish the frets. It's the apocalypse. Don't worry, Shane. Don't worry, Eddie. I'm sure I'll find some other pickups to change for you guys. Davis agrees with me. He says the Silver Sky pickups are great. Yeah, I was surprised when I played them. When I played the guitar live with my band, it was like, they sound like really great. It was perfect. So Thornblade says, so for fun, I bought a Firefly Black Mate Finish bat inlay guitar. Short neck, the pickups are terrible. Any suggestions on pickups for the FF Les Paul? Let's see. Well, what kind of sound do you want to get from your pickups? What kind of sound are you looking for? More aggressive, more vintage? What do you need? Low output, silent pickups even? Yeah, the neck radius is good. This is how I judge whether or not a 7.5 radius. If I can bend it and it doesn't go out of tune. Not out of tune, but out of if it doesn't fret out. How come I'm getting no sound? No. Jeez, I hate the sound. Let me try something else. Whatever. I'll try and bend this thing really high. Like I'm bending the string way past the midpoint. Not going, not blending. What's kicking in is the noise gate. It's killing the sound because the noise gate's on this stupid thing. Let me see. I don't know if there's any sounds that don't have. Yeah, noise gate's on here too. Let me turn off the noise gate. Let's see. How do I turn off the noise gate? Oh, there it is. Noise gate. Can I turn it off? How do you turn this thing off? I'm still learning how to use this thing, guys. So I didn't read the instructions. Okay, that's how you turn it off. Yeah, now you hear the noise in the background. Yeah, the neck is 9.25, not 7.25. It's 9.25. I think I just pulled everything out of tune though. Afternoon, Tony and all. Question: have you, Tony, or anyone else in here had any experience of band-in-the-box software? I was thinking about buying for creating backing tracks for practicing over. Band-in-a-box, I think I had tried that a long time ago, Mississippi Blues. There's a lot of software out there now, specifically if you're looking at drums. I don't know if it's specifically drums you're after, but there's a lot of great plugins for your DAW, for your software that will be able to mimic what you can do with a drummer. Even Logic has it built in now, Logic Pro. So if you have a little pad that you can use to program your drums, you can do a heck of a lot with that right there. So I don't know what exactly you want to get out of it, but you can definitely have an easier time nowadays putting together demos. Even if you just play guitar and bass, you can do the drums, you can do keyboards, you can do pretty much everything else in the computer. Mark, I don't like reading the manual. I don't. I'm impatient that way. The tuner on this thing is interesting because, let me just tune up here. The D slightly out, G slightly out, B is way out because I bent the heck out of it. Yeah, okay. The cool thing about the Arena from Donner is that it's got a combination of touch screen type of technology and knobs. So it's pretty straightforward. I don't think it's that complicated to learn, but eventually I will just read the manual briefly just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything or overlooking anything. I want to do a review on this for you guys. Do the Fine Young Cannibals use Donner pedals? Which one are you talking about there, Stephen? Alex says, Tony, find me an Apple phone Explorer Carina for less than $1,000, but it's just crazy. I think you're autocorrect. I think you meant Epiphone and it corrected it to Apple phone. Are you using the are you using the microphone on your phone to comment, Alex? You can't find one for under $1,000. I just finished saying that earlier. It's like the prices are still really high. It's like, doesn't make sense. There's an app you can buy, I forget the name. You can download a song, then delete the guitar track and play along with it. Seems to work very well. I remember it. I forget the name of it. There used to also be a really great website where it was guitarbackingtracks.com, where they had all of the songs, database of songs with no guitar. So you were able to play along with it. And that was a great resource till they got shut down. Why is it that everything that's good gets shut down? It was great because you could play along with the tracks, and they weren't MIDI tracks. MIDI tracks don't sound great. You know, they sound fake. This was actually, even the vocals were there, and it was someone else doing the vocals, but it was really well done. So you could take it, bring it into Logic, and play along with it on the guitar. And it's like you're playing along with the band, but there's no guitar. I'm aware of Donner. You mean the Donner brand? Is that what you're talking about, guys? I'm aware of Donner. Frank says, I also bought the Donner Arena 1000 because I'm cheap, but I want to have a plethora of choices. Well, that's it. That's why I'm going to be reviewing this guy. That's what I'm playing through right here. But this is the new one, the Arena 2000. I mean, it's a very inexpensive unit, so you can't expect miracles. You know, is it gonna knock my fractal off the table here? No, it won't. I'm not gonna lie. But for somebody that wants to buy something inexpensive and still have some great tools, it could do the job, definitely. I'll tweak a couple of sounds before I do my demo. I'll just, because the factory sounds, I'll probably show you what the factory sounds are like. They're not anything to write home about, but I'll probably just tweak a couple of sounds and then do the demo. And really where the inexpensive multi-effects units fail generally is things like reverb. Generally reverbs don't sound that great when they're inexpensive. Like I'll give you an example here. Let me just see if I can get a cleaner sound here. That's why a lot of these multi-effects units that are inexpensive, they tend to give you a lot of dirty sounds, because dirty sounds are not difficult to do, but cleans are. I'm just going through. I think I got to the end here. Let me just scroll this way, see if I can get to the beginning. What do we have here? Okay, kind of clean. It's called Wildlife. Not 100% clean, okay? But here, let me just show you the reverbs. So this is a hall. Not bad, right? But if I put it on a spring reverb, do they have spring here? I'm sure they do. Here, spring. Let me just bring it up in the mix a little. You hear that? Hear the tail? When you're strumming this way, you don't really notice it. But when you hit it and mute it, it has that boing, boing, boing sound. Not great. That's where they generally fail, is in the reverbs. So that's the spring. You have a dynaverb. Better. That one's not bad. I like the tail on that. Then they have the modulated reverb. Not bad. I think really it's only the spring reverb that's causing issues here. They have a lot of choice when it comes to reverbs too. They have a tremolo reverb. Cool. Hear that? And a distorted reverb. It just kind of blends everything together. So it's not bad. So just, that was my little short course on reverbs. Frank said the Arena 1000 is amazing for what I paid. No complaints. And Eddie says he prefers the autumn reverb as opposed to the spring reverb. Alex says, check out the new NuX modeling pedal. It's supposed to be pretty good. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that they came out with that. Maybe I'll eventually end up getting my hands on one. There's always plenty of like choice when it comes to this stuff. Thornblaze says, Frank, go for a Vox ToneLab ST under $100. The chock full of sounds, high quality, new tube powered. That's an old unit. The ToneLab, unless it's been re-released, that's like a way old unit. Let me just see if they're still available. They still have them? Or did they re-release them? Yeah, I see them now. I remember the original one. I tried the original one way back. And they were interesting for sure. They have that little tube in there, which they call it Valvetronic, which is supposed to give it like more warmth. But I haven't tried the recent models. Probably pretty good. You know, last week we talked about the Rolling Stone top 250 guitar player list. Remember I mentioned that, and I was like flabbergasted that this list even came out with some of the suggestions that they made, because there was clearly some very important people missing off that list. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought so, because apparently I saw that a few other people had the same thoughts as me. And one of the people that actually was complaining about the list, and if you're watching his sessions or watching his YouTube channel, Rick Beato obviously is a big YouTuber out there in the world of music, and he was complaining about the same thing. It didn't make any sense, and I agree 100%. I mentioned this even before he came out with his video, so we were probably thinking about the same thing at the same time. But he made some very valid points, and I don't know who's putting together these lists over at Rolling Stone. It looks like they're just taking the same list from last year and just changing a couple of names or just switching things around a little bit. But I rarely see new names on there, and it's clearly not put together by a guitarist, you know. So I'm glad that someone else agrees with me out there. Shane says Rolling Stone is trolling us for clicks. Probably. And Beato said he had friends that didn't belong on the list. Yeah, and there's plenty of people that I can name off the top of my head that are missing off that list. You know? So why are they not there? I don't get it. It's just one of those things. It just blows my mind. You would think, you know, Rolling Stone magazine has been around for years. They should know their stuff. That's what they talk about. That's what they've made their career out of, is talking about music. But how could they be so off when it comes to guitar players? Marcel says, I have a GTX 100. Why would I need a mod pedal? I don't know. Why would you? Maybe you don't. I'm not trying to convince you, Marcel. We're not trying to convince you. We're here to help. um, One thing I have to say, guys, I feel a little discouraged these days. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like, and don't take this the wrong way, because I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just hard on myself sometimes. But I'm a little discouraged because ever since I've been posting videos on my YouTube channel, my playing has actually suffered. And I'll explain. I just spend so much time tinkering with gear, trying out new things and just products and whatever. I spend too much time playing with the stuff and not enough time actually practicing to improve my playing. So, sometimes I just feel like so discouraged, because there's only so many hours in the day and you want to do so much. It takes a lot of time to make videos, edit them, come up with the content, the whole thing, the whole process. It's hard, you can't. I don't have a team. I'm not working with a bunch of people that are editing my videos or helping me shoot the videos, or I'm doing it all by myself. And so it takes time out of the day. And then you still have to do the work thing. You still have to do the family thing and whatnot. So it's like, if I was a single guy with no family and on my own and, had a lot of free time, then definitely, I could immerse myself in doing all of that and still feel like I have extra time to practice and whatnot. But it just gets really hard. So I don't know, how do you guys squeeze in practice time when it gets challenging like that? What do you guys do? And I think that also blends into the poll question. And I forgot to mention that there's a poll question that I hope you guys answered. And we'll get to the poll question now, actually. Let's take a look at it right now, because it definitely belongs in the discussion that we're having right now. So the poll question that I put up for you guys yesterday, pretty easy question. How many results do we have so far? 155 people voted on the poll question. So the poll question was, on average, how many hours of practice do you need to learn a semi-challenging new song on guitar? So semi-challenging, I mean, I'm not talking about anything crazy. I'm not talking about some jazz fusion, crazy guitar solo type thing. I'm just talking about, a pretty straightforward guitar song, standard, solo in the middle. How long would it normally take you? Because I feel like some people, I guess, that have more experience could really like listen to a song and get it down, like the bulk of it in like half an hour, 45 minutes. You already have most of it, depending on how challenging. And some people have a harder time. So for me, I'm going to say like an average song, like, I don't know, what would I consider an average song? Let's say average song, an AC/DC tune. Think of any AC/DC song. Pretty straightforward, standard chords. The only challenging part would be the solo, let's just say, if you want to get it down completely. So I would say like an AC/DC song that I've only heard a couple of times and I have to work out the solo would probably take me, to get like under my fingers so it's flowing, I'm going to say 3 hours. Anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, I would say. So less than 5 hours on my list. So the choices I have here is less than 5 hours, 5 to 10 hours, 10 to 20 hours, 20 to 30 hours, or more than 30 hours. So Vox says 1 year. Come on, Vox. Really? That much? That much time? Thornblaze says just capture the spirit of the song, an hour maybe at the most. I'm not talking about capturing the spirit. I'm not talking about, like, I'm talking about being able to play the song note for note. Like solo and everything. An average song. Like say pick an AC/DC tune. I don't know. Hell's Bells, whatever. For me, I'm going to say 2 to 3 hours to work it out. So let's look at the actual poll here and see what people answered. So I think I'm in the majority because most people, 34%, said less than 5 hours. So I feel like that's where I fit in. 33% of you said 33% said 5 to 10 hours. I guess if it's a really challenging song, perhaps. Like if I had to learn a Van Halen song, to me, a Van Halen song is not an average song because there's a lot of technique in there that if you don't have that technique, it's hard to play those songs. So developing that technique would probably take time. So I would say if it's a Van Halen song, like the solo of some of these Van Halen songs, probably would take me between 5 and 10 hours. But if it's an easier song, less than 5. 14% of you said 10 to 20 hours. 4% said 20 to 30 hours. And 15% of you said more than 30 hours. So if you're spending more than 30 hours on it, then I guess that would be like, more beginner, intermediate players, I guess. So I'm curious where you guys fit in. Of course, you can go ahead and capture just the spirit of the song, play roughly, the chords, the changes with tabs. And then for the solo, just like improvise over it, as long as you're in the right key. That's a whole different thing, right? That would be definitely less than 3 hours, I would say. Marcel says, I'll let you know when I learn to play. Surferby says, might as well be the top 1 million guitar players. Useless list. I agree. Totally agree. Shane says, if AC/DC is average, then 2 to 3 hours. I always thought their songs were pretty basic. They are pretty basic. That's why I'm saying average. Average. The only thing that's maybe a little outstanding in there could be maybe the solo sections. Thornblaze says, gotcha, a day or two depending on how challenging the solo is. Okay. And Steven's been listening to Alexandra, Zerner. So it takes a lot longer than 10 or 20 hours, definitely. Yeah, you probably have interns, 20-something aged interns putting the lists together at Rolling Stone, probably. I guess they don't vet the lists over at Rolling Stone. Eddie says, I've been working on Vito Bratta's Little Fighter solo for a month now. It's a real finger twister. But it's going to be so satisfying when you get it down, Eddie. That's the thing. I always say it. When you're learning a song, instead of trying to cram it and get frustrated, learn parts, small parts, take a break, come back to it the next day. And I'm telling you, overnight when you're sleeping, you're thinking about it and your brain is defragging the parts. You come back the next day and all of a sudden it's easier to play. I've seen this happen over and over again with me. It's like instead of, if you're trying to cram the song all in one shot, it doesn't go in. But if you break it down into smaller chunks, sleep on it. I'm telling you, after 2-3 sleeps, 3 nights, your brain somehow figures it out and it becomes so much easier. And that brings me to the next question that I had here. What practice techniques are you guys using? I just want to know because I'm curious for myself, I found some things really work, like slow practice. If you're learning how to bring up your speed. Excuse me. Got something in my throat. That one sneaked up on me. Okay. So if you're learning to play something that needs to be played quickly, fast, slow practice, it's weird that you got to do the opposite to build up speed, but slow practice and gradually increasing your speed with a metronome really, really helps because you can build up your speed without a metronome, but then you're sloppy. The timing is off. Left, right hand coordination tends to be off. But if you do it gradually with a metronome, build it up slowly, you get fast in a short amount of time. It doesn't really take that much time. It's sometimes frustrating because you want to be quick right away, but it takes a little bit of time to develop that, and it goes a lot quicker with regimented increases in speed. So use a metronome. Breaking the song up in sections, that definitely helps. Even solos. Like if you take a Van Halen solo like Eruption, which I still kind of have to learn. I never actually spent the time learning that solo because everybody plays it. And it's like, how many times are you going to listen to someone play Eruption? But it's still a cool solo to learn because there's some really nice techniques in there. But if you take that and you break it up into smaller chunks, it makes it a lot easier. So you get the chunks down and then you put them all together. That definitely helps. Developing your ear also, I feel is really important. A lot of people will rely on tabs, which is cool if you want to learn a song quickly, because the tabs will get you in the ballpark. Not all tabs are created equal. A lot of these tabs are incorrect. So you know, it'll actually teach you how to hear that too. And you'll notice that some tabs, they'll have instructions like you're playing it a part here and then the next section's up here. And it doesn't make sense logically. Because generally, a guitarist wouldn't do that. They would try and make it easy and play most of the notes in a small area of the neck. So if you see tabs that are kind of doing that, it could mean that it's wrong. But learning by ear, just being able to hear the difference of the way the strings sound when you're playing a certain lick way up here as opposed to down here, what the strings sound like when you're using them as chords and whatnot. The dynamics is very important. So if you can listen to stuff and just do a little exercise every day, and I got to work this in. I don't know how I'm going to find time to do this, but just try to learn a new lick every day. Just listen to something. There's so much stuff there on YouTube. So many people playing guitars and showing stuff. And sometimes you come across something and you're like, hey, that's a really cool blues lick or a really cool legato lick or a sweep picking technique or whatever you're into. But just grab it if you can save it and just learn it. And every day learn a new lick. And I don't do this. I don't have time, but I have to start doing it because it really increases your repertoire of when you're playing any kind of music. And you can just call on all these little licks that you've learned. And once you learn something, it kind of sticks. If you play it often enough, you don't forget it. You can call it back at any time and you can build, cool, interesting solos out of it, because we tend to all go to back to the same lick. Like I'm sure if you guys pick up a guitar, there's a lick that you've probably played a million times that comes out of your fingers right away, like something like that, a Jimmy Page lick or something. Things like that you will play over and over again. You want to try and stop doing that. Like that's what I really hate when I see myself playing the same stupid licks over and over again. It becomes frustrating because I'm like, I got to get some new vocabulary in there, and I got to start learning some new stuff, keep it fresh. And so it's important to do that. And then of course, playing along with the original recording. You want to get timing and feel right. It's okay to play the chords and the changes, but the feel is super important. And I think the only way you can actually learn that is to mimic it. And playing with the album definitely helps to put the inflections in the right place. And finally, play with different people. If you can play with people, real people, live real people, definitely do that. And if you can play with somebody that's better than you, if they'll allow you to, and they won't get frustrated listening to your crappy playing, that's definitely a big learning experience. Rico, thank you for stopping by, man. Have a good week. Marcel says, I try to put an hour each day. That's excellent, Marcel. I gotta set that goal. I gotta do that too. Thornblaze says learn one or two arpeggios and play them every day as an exercise and your speed will pick up. Absolutely. A riff a day keeps the doc away. And if you're trying to learn the fretboard too, call out the notes. Just when you're playing something, and if you can't figure it out and it's a bit challenging, and you don't know where all the notes are, at least try and call out the last note that you land on. Or maybe the note that you start on. If there's a specific little riff. You know, just being able to say, oh, what note is that? That's the A. Where are all the other A's, you know? Try and get them so that you can do an exercise where you play only all of the A's and just hit all of the A's on every single note, on every single string, all the way down, so that you know just offhand where everything is, you know. Take a D and start playing all the D's on the fretboard. And if you don't know where everything is and you use you have your guitar plugged into a tuner pedal, the tuner pedal could actually help you, because when you hit a note, I don't know if this one will do it. I'm sure, well, maybe you will. Let's say I put on the tuner and I'm like, oh, what's this? What note is this? C sharp. C sharp. It says so right there and then on my tuner. So even if you don't know it, then you can just say, okay, what note is this? Take a note, call it out, see if you get it right. If it's an A, pull out all the other A's, you know, on the fretboard, and use the tuner as a guide. Little tricks like that, you know, and it really helps. These little things really, really help. Eddie says, I'm the opposite. My OCD won't let me not play it note for note. I like playing note for note too. That's my challenge as well. If it's not note for note, it's like I'm missing out on something, you know? It's just like you have to, you got to find the groove. And if you have that groove going, the rest is great. If you see the audience doing this with their heads when you're playing, you're doing something right. Paul says the NUX Loop Core Stereo, $120 USD, ideal looper / drum machine, perfect for learning. The drums sound totally pro, good enough for serious recording. The looper pedal is something I forgot to mention. Thank you for reminding me, Paul, because a looper pedal is a great tool when you're learning to play guitar. Just playing over chord changes. Just record a couple of like basic, you know, some rhythm changes, and just put them down with your looper pedal and play over them. See if you can figure out some kind of lick that ties everything together. And a lot of times they have drums, like this Donner Arena 2000 has drums in it. So you can just take it and play and throw in some drums and get into the groove. The important thing is to play, man. That's the important thing. Just play as much as you can. A couple of last minute things I want to talk about. John 5, the guy's a genius. I love this guy. If you guys haven't seen John 5 being interviewed by Kenny Aronoff. Kenny Aronoff is a pretty famous drummer. He plays with all kinds of people, and he has his own show. I forget the name of the show though. It's relatively new. He's kind of doing the Rick Beato thing, and he's not just interviewing drummers. He's interviewing all kinds of people. He had John 5 on his show, and I really like this dude. I mean, I'm not a huge connoisseur of John 5 music, but as a person, I like him. He seems very down to earth. He seems very humble. He's an excellent player. I know this dude definitely practices. You can tell. I mean, he's got the chops to play basically anything. But he's not like full of himself. He's not a poser. He's very like, even though he has the makeup thing going on stage, you know, he's not intimidating. He's a very down to earth kind of guy doing his own thing. And I think he really cares about the music, especially with the different bands that he plays. So if you have an opportunity, just Google Kenny Aronoff, John 5. You'll see there's an entire interview there, pretty long one, and then there's a bunch of small sections that they also released on YouTube. And really nice listening to these guys talking. I think these guys are really great. Both of them are amazing, by the way. Surfer By says, I start with scale exercises up and down the neck for 10 minutes using a metronome, slow to fast. Then I put in a backing track and jam. Then learning / playing songs. Yeah, and it's just, the thing is, whenever I start doing stuff that is not actually practice, when I start noodling, I always noodle the stuff I already know. And you kind of have to stop yourself thinking that way and say, hold on, I already know that lick. I've played that lick a million times. Let's move on to something else. Let me try and play something I don't know. And if you really concentrate on the stuff that you don't know, as opposed to the stuff you do know, that's when you start actually getting better. You have to get out of your comfort zone. John agrees with me, says that was a great interview, the Kenny Aronoff sessions. Yeah, great. I love listening to that stuff. Paul says, Tony, Nuex signed up Pete Thorne and it appears to be like the same deal he has with Sir. He did a demo and long announcement about it. Yeah, it could be that he's working with them. Why not? Pete's a cool dude. He can definitely showcase the ins and outs of a lot of different gear very easily. Very easily. Okay, one thing I wanted to say, guys, I almost forgot. I've been working really hard this week. I've been working really hard building an amp. I put out a couple of videos this week. I don't know if you guys saw them or not, but I've been working on a couple of things. So I did an unboxing video of the StewMac Princeton Reverb kit that I put out this week. But I've also been working behind the scenes and I've been recording a series of videos where I'm actually building the actual amplifier. Yeah, it's great to review all the bits and pieces, but we're actually going to be building the thing. So I've actually gone through, I'm going to say, a good 3 to 4 hours worth of actually building the amplifier. And I'm actually documenting the entire thing. So I'm going to be trickling out some videos, maybe one video per week or something like that, of the steps that I've done using the actual manual, the guide, the build guide that I got. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's kind of like insurance. If something goes wrong or I do something wrong, hopefully somebody with better eyes and more experience than I have will be able to point out the mistake that I made and hopefully help me fix it, because I don't have vast experience when it comes to electronics. That's number one. Number two, hopefully eventually the guide, the step-by-step build process could help somebody else. That's why I have the empty case right there. That's the case for the Princeton. But I'm working on the chassis separately, so I don't really need the case right now. The speaker's already in there, the Jensen speaker, ready to go. But the chassis is only partially built. I think I'm about at about step, I'm going to say 40. And I think total amount of steps in this build is probably 130 or something like that. So I still have a long way to go, but I've gotten to the point now where I've actually almost completely wired up the chassis in terms of the basic wire management. And I'm going to be starting the turret board. So keep your fingers crossed for me that I don't get electrocuted. I'm really terrified by having to turn on that thing for the first time and poke around in there after I turned it on, not knowing, how much charge the capacitors have and how to properly drain them before messing around in there. But if any of you out there have built an amplifier before or have electronics knowledge, please help if you can. I would appreciate it so I don't kill myself. Marcel, I'll have to read the manual in this particular case because there's no way I'd be able to build it without, reading the manual. But I'm really excited because things are moving now and coming along nicely. And I will be posting a video this week on the first part 1. Not going to be totally exciting because if you're not into it, you probably would not care less. But if you're into it, check it out and check in from time to time just to see how I'm doing, guys, because it's going to be interesting. But hopefully I'm going to be able to get this build done in not too much time. Maybe even, who knows, maybe even at the end of the week. It would be fantastic because I want to put it together and I want to play it. I ordered the little Fender logo to put on the actual cabinet because it doesn't come with one. They can't call it a Fender cabinet or a Fender amp because it's not being made by Fender, right? But for all intents and purposes, it is. It's a Princeton circuit, and I haven't ever had a hand-wired Princeton, so I think it's going to be pretty sweet to be able to check it out and see how it sounds at the end of the day. I've played stock Princetons, but I'm hoping this one will sound good. We'll see. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed for me. Kayla says maybe ask Brad, the guitarologist, for help with the capacitor stuff. Yeah, maybe I will have to ask Brad. Maybe. Good advice. I appreciate it. Thornblaze says, true, Paul. My first visit here and very impressed. Thank you, man. Thank you, dude. And, don't be shy. You guys, I know there's people lurking that are new. Don't be shy. It's really a great community, and most of the people here are fantastic and great with the advice and the help. And Surferby says, learn major minor chord triad voicings up the neck. That's a great tip. Of course, all the pentatonic stuff always helps as well. I agree, EF. Kenny Aronoff is probably the best session drummer of the last 25 years. I've seen him play with so many people. I've seen him play with CCR. I've seen him play with John Mellencamp. I've seen him play with like numerous artists. He's the go-to guy. He really is. And he has some great anecdotal stories about how he approached a specific recording session. He had a great story about, he's the one that put that great little break in the John Cougar song, Jack and Diane. Between, there's a break where there's that part that says, don't let it rock, let it roll, let the bottom melt, come and save my soul. Well, that part, just before it goes into that little drum break, was him. And he was telling the story of how he had to come up with something. They needed something, and they're like, get in there and put something together. And he's like, what the hell am I going to do? I don't know. And he's walking towards the drum booth and trying to figure it out. And there's a lot of pressure on him to come up with something, and he wanted fast. So he came out and he talks about how he came up with the idea and how he actually developed that fill right on the spot. And a lot of people don't know this about Kenny. He reads most of his stuff. He writes it down and he reads it. So he can play stuff note for note, and he's great at transcribing and just taking the stuff and putting it there and reading it and just playing it. Crazy. That's like skill. Amazing. Great talents out there. Marcel wants to know, how much is the build costing you? In time or in money? Because in time, quite a bit. The actual amp is about $1,200 around there, right? Plus shipping and duties, exchange. It's not cheap, but I tell you something. I mean, the spur of the mill Princeton reverbs are not cheap either. Like the regular ones that are not hand wired are how much now? Anybody know? Here, I'm gonna just pull up some pricing for you guys here. So Long and McQuaid pricing here in Canada for a regular, this is a 68, right? The build I'm making is built on based on a 65. But a 68 regular run-of-the-mill Princeton is $1,789 before taxes. So you're looking at close to 2 G's for a regular circuit board version, not a hand-wired version. If you want the hand-wired version, I think it's like almost $4,000. It's crazy money. It's pretty crazy. Can't believe it. So the 65 Princeton in US money is about $1,399. The regular run-of-the-mill one. But if you want the hand-wired, let me do it here. How much is the hand-wired version, if it's even listed there? I'm on the Fender site and I don't see it. Okay, so the hand-wired version, also from Long & McQuaid, is $3,859.99. Plus tax, you're looking at $4,000 for a hand-wired Princeton reverb. So I'm not paying $4,000, that's for sure. And hopefully it'll work at least at the end of it. But what I was saying is I ordered the little Fender logo that goes on the front of the amp because it doesn't come with it. They can't sell that with the amp. I think it cost me like $35. What a ripoff. Everything's so expensive. But anyways, it'll get done, and at the end I will demo the sounds out of it. So many people have done these builds before on YouTube, and they spend a lot of time talking about it, but then just briefly play it. You know, I don't know why that is, unless it doesn't sound good or there's an issue. All right, guys, I think we can call it a day. I've been talking for almost 2 hours, and I do appreciate you guys stopping by this Sunday. I appreciate the great comments, the super chats. I appreciate the thumbs up, and I appreciate the newcomers. And hopefully you guys will tune in again. And we're here every Sunday, by the way. Every Sunday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time is usually my time slot. Sometimes I'll switch it up and I'll do it in the evening, depending on, you know, how I feel, how tired I am at the end of the day. But if you guys would like to tune in again, just watch out for me on Sundays. Usually Sunday mornings is the time where I'm active and doing the live shows. If you guys have any comments, and specifically about some of the last videos that I put up, don't be shy. Put the comments in the comments section. That's why they're there. You know, just feel free. I usually get around to answering the questions, and you know, I like the questions you guys ask. I think you guys have excellent questions. Jean-Pierre says, no trivia today? You want some trivia, Jean-Pierre? Okay, we can close with a little bit of trivia. How's this? I'll give you a couple of questions. 3 questions. Or 2 questions, then we're out of here. 2 or 3, whatever. Give you some trivia. Here we go. Trivia question number 1. What does John Lennon say on the final words on the final Beatle album? If there's any Beatle fans here, what are the words? Are they good night, everyone, everybody, everywhere, good night? Are they the dream is over? Is it turn me on, dead man? Or is it I hope we passed the audition? Let's see who comes out with the right answer first. Go. And if you're a Beatles fan, you should know this. It's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty easy question. Anybody? Nobody? Wow. Are you guys looking it up? Guys typing it out? I would have thought Jean-Pierre would have had the answer already. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 more seconds, then I'm giving you the answer. Marcel says the last one, D. I hope we passed the audition. It is indeed D. Exactly. That's the one. Ah, Jean-Pierre did get it, and so did Surfer By, but Marcel was quicker. So the first point goes to Marcel because he was faster on the draw. All right, they're coming in now. Okay, question number 2. Ready for this one? Get your fingers ready to type. In 1973, Led Zeppelin broke the single concert attendance record in the US, drawing 56,800 fans to Tampa Stadium. Who held the record for the previous 8 years? Okay, so is it A, Lynyrd Skynyrd, B, the Rolling Stones, C, the Beatles, or D, the Grateful Dead? And I'll hum the little tune there, and when it's finished, I'll give you the answer. Okay, time's up. Nobody? I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Ah, there we go. Okay, the answers are coming in. So Gene says Deep Purple, not even on the list. Gene, come on, pay attention. Jean-Pierre says the Beatles, 1965. Correct. Marcel says Woodstock. Woodstock? We're talking about the bands. Anyway, no, it wasn't Woodstock. Thornblaze says the Beatles. He did it. He got it. It was a little slow. So Jean-Pierre's got that one. So Marcel and Jean-Pierre are in the lead. No, it wasn't Skynyrd, Eddie, and it wasn't the Grateful Dead. You got to choose from the guys that are in here, but no, not the Grateful Dead. So the Beatles held that record for 8 years previous there. Okay, last question, and then we wrap it up. Last question, all right? Here we go. Okay, Stephen Davis's notorious 1985 biography, Hammer of the Gods, takes its name from the lyrics of which Led Zeppelin song? All right, and should I even give you the names of the songs? Okay, I'll give you the names. I'll make it easier. So is it A, Achilles' Last Stand, B, Immigrant Song, C, Good Times, Bad Times, or D, The Rover? This one's an easy one. John got it. All right, John. So we don't have a clear winner. It's a three-way tie, 1-1-1. Should we have a tiebreaker? Should we do one more? Let's see if we can do one more. Well, we need to have a winner here today. All right, let me pull out one more, and then we'll see if we can get a winner, and then we call it a day, okay? Here we go. Let me try and get something that is... this one should be... Well, if you're an older guy like me, maybe you'll know this. If you're younger, you might not. All right? Marcel says C. Yeah, C. It was the Immigrant Song, Marcel. Not Good Times, Bad Times. The first one. The second one. Immigrant Song. B. Wasn't Kashmir. Okay, last one. Last one. And then this time we're really out of here, because it's getting late and I know you guys have better things to do. Which of these things did Keith Moon not do? Now, Keith Moon, crazy drummer from The Who, everybody knows Keith Moon. What did he not do? Okay, ready? Winner, winner, sticker, sticker. Yeah, you can get a sticker if you win. Sure. I could send you a sticker. All right. Which of these things did Keith Moon not do? Okay. A. And there's a few more here, so pay attention. A. Drive a Rolls Royce into a pool. B. Pass out behind his drum kit after taking a handful of horse tranquilizers. Remember, it's what he did not do. C. Accidentally run over and kill his bodyguard. D. Smash the crockery at John Entwistle's wedding. The crockery. I guess the crockery is what? The plates. E. Dress up in Nazi regalia. Or F, watch the Buddy Holly story the night before he died. So let's see who the real fans are. Do I need to repeat the questions, the answers? There's a lot of them. So what do you guys think is the answer to this one? And it's going to be hard because they're all crazy stuff. It's all crazy stuff, right? So Jean-Pierre says C. He didn't accidentally run over and kill his bodyguard. That's actually not right. He actually did. He did ran over and kill his bodyguard. All right. Steven says D, which means he's saying that he did not smash the crockery at John Entwistle's wedding. And Steven's right. That's the one that he didn't do. Imagine that. Everything else he did do. So he did drive a Rolls Royce into a pool. He did pass out behind his drum kit after taking a handful of horse tranquilizers. I think most people know that one. He did accidentally run over and kill his bodyguard. That's a sad one. Maybe some people don't know that one. He didn't smash the crockery at John Entwistle's wedding. He did not do that. But he did dress up in Nazi regalia, and he did watch the Buddy Holly story the night before he died. So there you go. That's the trivia for today. Don't say I don't try, I don't aim to please. I hope you guys had a good one. Maybe learned a couple of new things today. And Keith Moon is awesome, Eddie. Keith Moon, I could only imagine trying to keep up with Keith Moon. Like, it would be impossible. And this is just a handful of stuff that the guy did. You could only imagine the stuff that nobody even knows about. Anyways, guys, have a great Sunday. I hope you guys... He sat in a bathtub full of pork and beans. That's true for the album cover. That's true. Guys, I hope you had a great Sunday. I hope I gave you a couple of giggles. I hope you had an interesting time. And I hope that the 2 hours that we spent together went by really quickly. And hopefully you'll be back for more next Sunday. Please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it before you leave. Think about some stuff that you guys want to talk about and bring to the show next week. And stay tuned because we'll be back and there'll be more. And I'll have more great videos out this week for you as well. So stay tuned and watch those. That would be appreciated. All right, guys, have a fantastic day. Go out there, practice your guitar, put in that practice time and get better. And we'll be back next week to talk about all that. All right. Cheers, guys.